A few days have passed since the conclusion of Attack on Titan's anime, and a lot of people have had time now to really watch the episode and think about how they feel about the conclusion. Think about how they feel about Attack on Titan truly coming to a close. But one discussion that has been popping up even more so today, and it was heating up since, the manga first came to a close, but now, especially since anyone that was just anime only finally watched the conclusion, the discussion that has been appearing a lot is this actually a hint at a sequel? And what I mean is that anyone that watched the final episode and got past, the ending credits and all that, getting to see Paradise Island just destroyed and nuked as we could assume, we get to see a post-apocalyptic setting. You get to see ancient skyscrapers, broken buildings. You get to see how nature itself has taken over the environment. Rivers and lakes have formed. It just seems like nature has really taken over Paradise Island, showcasing that humans have not really expanded much on this land anymore. What humans once had was just stripped away from them thanks to war, and they're just no longer here to steal from it, or just take, or whatever. And we get to see this character that is briefly introduced with just a few minutes at the end of this episode that comes into frame, has a dog, and seems like a wandering nomad. And this character is, from my awareness, from all my current knowledge, unnamed. We don't know this character's name. We don't know exactly their history, if they're related to the Marlians, the Eldians. We don't really know who this character is. This could be the child of Mikasa and all that's passed down, like, ancient child of Mikasa, or like grandchild, so to speak, or maybe a grandchild of Historia. There's a lot of, people that, this character could be connected with. Or it could be just someone completely unknown, completely blank slate, that their blood isn't even attached to previous characters of Attack on Titan. Regardless of the point, this character is there to showcase that humans are still alive. Or in this case, maybe thriving to a degree, but that is still up for speculation as well, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the big point I'm getting at here is that this final sequence is definitely implying that there is potentially more to come. That Isayama left the door open for a potential sequel, for Attack on Titan to begin again, to start over. And when you look at the events of what happened at the ending of the credit sequence to what this final sequence is, and you see this kid, we don't know if it's a boy or girl. For all we know, this could be a girl just with short hair. I mean, we don't know. It's completely, we have no idea. I've seen female characters do that before with an anime. So the point of the matter is that this character just walks up to a tree, and this giant tree, as you can see here, that is being displayed, it's very obvious what this tree is. It's very apparent that this tree is the tree where it all began. It is the tree as well to where Eren and Mikasa were buried at. And let's talk about that. What was Isayama implying here? What was happening? Well, anyone that remembers, when Ymir first became a Titan, found, the worm, the parasitic worm that attached to her and all that, and she became the founding Titan, we know that she entered into a tree that looked pretty much like this. She entered into the tree, she fell down a weird cave, she broke out of it, and turned into a Titan. That was a very iconic and beautiful panel, happened in the anime as well, and it's kind of what started the whole cycle throughout Attack on Titan, at least when it comes to Titans versus humans and all of that, and the Marlians and the Eldians, and everything in between. And when you see this final sequence that is shown here, it's implied that if this kid walks into that tree, which clearly they're walking into it, they're going to potentially find something. And what they find could either be Eren's grave, like Eren and Mikasa's gravestone, but a lot of time has passed since then, so it might not even be there, or might find another parasitic worm to some degree. Who's to say there was just one? There could have been more, maybe. Who knows? And the point of the matter is that this is directly telling us that it potentially could start all over again. And we got to think about the core themes of Attack on Titan. I mean, even this credit sequence kind of implies it, is that even with Titan powers gone and nobody able to Titan shift anymore, and potentially hundreds to thousands of years passing for civilization to progress, humans will still kill each other even without Titans a part of it. And it kind of showcases that war and conflict, hate, will just never cease to exist as long as humans are around. That is pretty much what the credit sequence kind of implies. And so when you think about this sequence here, it's like, there is some differences that's being on display. When this character finds the tree, we got to think about the current state that they're in. They don't look necessarily famished. They don't seem like they're, like, starving or anything, but it does seem like they are wandering nomads. Like, this individual just seems like someone that is just potentially looking for food, looking for shelter, maybe looking for people. But one of the big indicators here is that there is no one else around, which basically means that for all we know, this could be the last living human in the entire world, for all we know, or at least the last living human on Paradise. I mean, we don't know. We know that this is potentially taking place on Paradise, but for all we know, it might be a completely different area. Who knows? I mean, it could be a completely different area just with a tree that looks very similar to the beginning tree and where Eren was buried, potentially. But the point is that this definitely opens up the door for Titan powers to potentially return and to start an Attack on Titan Part 2. So what could this theoretically do if Isayama does want to go down this path? Well, it can do something that didn't really get a lot of showcasing within Attack on Titan. And what I'm talking about is the early years. We saw brief moments and panels and episodes or sequences of, like, Ymir and her being the founding Titan and, Titans later on, taking up the mantle and all that. But we never saw all of them. We never got to see, like, civilization truly being built by the Titans or other people throughout the world being subjugated by the Titans or the Eldians. We didn't get to see nothing like that. We didn't get to see anything like, just that type of stuff happening. And I feel like if, hypothetically, there is more humans left alive, and if this is a Titan shifting power that could be obtained again, it going in the train and gets it, basically we might get to see society built once again by the Titans, but this time with not bad blood to start. And it could be a different take on the story. It's kind of like, Isayama saying, okay, let's start everything over again. Humanity is reset. It's in a post-apocalyptic world, as we can see. And, let's see now if humans can get along without, like, the Marlians and Eldians just wanting to kill each other. Can civilization get along now that, Titans have probably just faded from everybody's memory at this point? Because we could assume, like, thousands of years have passed at this point. That's what we could assume. So, most people won't even know what a Titan is. And if anyone does talk about them, it would be just relegated to myth or a story or something. So, it's like, for all we know, that Isayama could want to do a retelling again, but this time without that conflict. Just to see if everything could happen. So, food for thought. I mean, personally, I would welcome a continuation. Truthfully, I would, because I would like to see more of the Attack on Titan verse. I think there is a lot of unique stuff that could be explored with it, especially with just Titan shifting powers to begin with. There's a lot there. I just may not agree with everything with the ending of Attack on Titan, but I do like Attack on Titan. I think it is a legitimately good series, and it will be something that, as I can clearly see, is going to be talked about for decades to come. I mean, this, regardless if we get a continuation or not, there will be a lot of speculation and discussion on what this overall meaning is here of what's happening with this character, because it could just be symbolic, or it could be actually the start, the beginning again of the Titans' resurgence. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to talk about. And, but honestly, I do hope it gets a continuation. It is a door left open that I would love to see Isayama go back into. But I'll leave it at that. If you enjoyed the video and you like my content, please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. I would greatly appreciate it. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.